Hi, so it's Lisa here. So we got to last time on the previous video going through the ectopic pregnancy, our corneal ectopic pregnancy, and we left off with me finishing having my methotrexate injections and going in to getting my blood checked every couple of days for the HCG level, which is your pregnancy hormone level in your blood. After I'd had both injections, which I explained in the last video, I started to bleed slightly, and this was on my friend's wedding day, actually at the end of September 2017, and over the next couple of days it sort of progressed a little bit more, so it went a bit heavier, more like a period type blood. And then sort of progressed a little bit more, and on the Friday, so it's about 3 or 4 days later, maybe a little bit more than that, I woke up and I'd been had a lot of pain throughout the night, which I had done throughout, sort of very intermittent, but over the last couple of days it sort of got a little bit worse. On the Friday I woke up in quite a lot of pain, felt really sort of rubbish, very sort of period type cramps, but it was more intense than it had been, and it was becoming more frequent, so I was taking sort of Cornual to try and maintain it as much as I could, and luckily I was able to be at home that day as well, which was great, and I didn't have any clients or anything, so I kind of stayed in bed for some of the morning, had hot water bottles, had Cornual. My husband actually didn't really want to go to work that morning because he was sort of really worried about me, but I said to him, go, I'll be fine, sort of thing, you know, try and sort of deal with it the best you can, really. And it didn't really get any better throughout the day, so I spent probably up until about 1 o'clock probably in bed, and then I thought, right, I need to sort of get up and get some food, so I got up, got myself showered, and after I'd had a shower I felt really ill again, really bad cramps in my stomach where I literally just laid on the bed because I could barely move. So once I kind of got through that, I then decided I needed to sort of get myself changed and get downstairs. So come downstairs and actually made myself a bit of lunch, and then sat on the sofa, and I just had a gush. And if you're a woman, you probably would know this feeling quite well. Probably not as severe, but yeah, it was a gush. So I kind of literally got up and ran to the toilet, and then when I sat on the toilet, blood just poured out of me, and I'm not meaning just a tiny bit, I mean a lot, and I had massive blood clot as well. So not to be too graphic, but I felt like I was having a poo out of my foof. It was really not very nice at all, and I kind of went into a bit of panic because there was a lot of blood clots. The hospital never told me what I should be be aware of, and I just went into sort of panic, really. So the first person I wanted to call was my husband, rang him, and he said he was on his way home. So I was like, you know, thank you, sort of, if you can pick up some pads on your way home. And that kind of reassured me, knowing that he was coming home, I wouldn't have to be long on my own. And he actually did come through not long later, but I was sat on the toilet at this point, and he said it would be sort of 20 minutes. So I thought, right, well, I need to kind of get up and get off this toilet and get upstairs, because the pad that I put on I hadn't long had on, because it was heavier than what it was before, but then it went really heavy very quickly. So I had a lot of blood on this pad and all in the knickers as well, so I kind of needed to make the dash upstairs, where in our bedroom where everything was. So kind of sat there for a few minutes, let sort of nature take its course. I was kind of flushing away it as it was going, but you don't really want to see it, but you can't help but look as well, and the toilet was just full of blood and massive blood clots. So I decided, right, I need to get off the toilet, so went upstairs into our bedroom, grabbed the bits I need, went straight to the toilet. It was a very mad dash because I just didn't want any blood going anywhere, because it was sort of running out of me. It wasn't sort of very long sort of phases in between where it would stop, so it would have a blood clot and a drip, a blood clot and a drip, and a blood clot and a drip, and a little bit of a break, and then it wasn't easy. So I sort of dashed upstairs and then got straight on the toilet, and then I sat on the toilet and I thought, all right, I need to kind of, what do I do? Am I bleeding to death, or, you know, is this the miscarriage? So right, I thought I needed to phone the hospital, so that was my first port of call. So I phoned the hospital, and actually spoke to a lady on the phone, and she said to me that she couldn't speak to me she was at reception because it's confidential. So she said that she would give me a call back in a few minutes and answer any questions I had. And I thought, okay, that's brilliant, that's fine. So I was just sat on the toilet waiting for her call, waited over an hour, and this time my husband had to come home. And she still hadn't called me back. So he was kind of a bit worried and concerned about me. He kind of just sat with me. I was still sat on the toilet at this point. As you do, you ring your mum and all that sort of thing, because you're just panicking. You just don't know what to do. And I just kind of wanted everything to come out as well. So I was wearing pads rather than tampons to let everything just come out. So over, like I said, over an hour, and hadn't heard anything from the hospital. My husband said, you know, why don't you ring again? Because my friend was due to come as well, and I was kind of, you know, thinking, because we totally forgot, I completely and totally forgot that she was due to come, and she would have been rocking up at any minute. So I actually rang the hospital again, and the lady said, I'm so sorry, I've been so busy. And I was sort of thinking, oh gosh, here we go. And she said, I'll give you a call back in a few minutes. And I wasn't sort of holding any hope out, but she did. And she said to me that it's not to panic, but she said, if you're sort of filling a pad within half an hour, you're fine. If it's sort of more frequent than that, then you need to be coming in. And I said, you know, I'm sat on the toilet. I've been sat on the toilet. By this time it was about an hour and a half, and I had a ring around my butt. But she said, try and get off the toilet and see how you go. And so I was like, okay, well, I need to do that. So got off the toilet, still obviously taking Cornual. I still had my water bottle because I was in a lot of pain and a lot of period cramps, but it was like contractions, I felt like, because they were coming really strong and then they would fade for a few minutes and they would come really strong again. So my husband sort of helped me sort myself out, and my friend actually rocked up while we were doing this, so she kind of got involved as well and saw everything that she didn't need to see, but she was lovely and she was great, and my husband was amazing as well. And got off the toilet and then sort of come downstairs and had a cup of tea and was dashing to the toilet every few minutes, because it was kind of ongoing then all evening, sort of going to the toilet, and there was a lot of blood and it was filling the toilet up and blood clots. It was just sort of continuous throughout the evening, with a lot of pain and discomfort. And then it got a little bit better and less heavy than what it was in the sort of those 2 hours probably where it was extremely heavy. And then the next day it got a little bit lighter and then a little bit lighter, less crampy, and you know, over sort of as you go along it got better. And actually we went back to the hospital for my blood test for the HCG, which I explained for, to have your pregnancy hormone checked, and they said it dropped considerably, so we were really pleased with that. And they were too, and they said, well, we'll keep getting you come back just until the levels drop to 0, which they did, and then they signed me off, and that was probably end of November by this time. By the time I'd had my miscarriage, October, sorry, it would have been end of October, and then sort of got back to normality in November. But it took a little while because my periods were kind of all over the place for a little while, 5 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they regulated again, which was great. But it does completely chuck your body all over the place. And then sort of you got back to sort of some normality, and then my husband and I, our main concern was obviously our coil, and if we still had the coil in, you know, we needed to get that out. So we made an appointment with the doctor, and they referred us to a hospital to get it removed. Unfortunately, when I got there, they couldn't see it on ultrasound, so I had to have an x-ray, and they couldn't see it either. So they said that it must have come out when I had my miscarriage, which is kind of a good thing because it was out and done with. We were being safe anyway, because like I said before, my husband proposed in the September, just before we literally found out. So we kind of set a date in the October. We went and looked at venues and set a date for July 2018, and we kind of chucked ourselves into that. So we kind of wanted to be protected anyway and use condoms, so we didn't get pregnant before the wedding and focus on the wedding. So that's what we did. And yeah, it was really good. It's a very hard thing to go through. It's not easy for myself physically, but also mentally, but also for my husband as well. Me and Steve, we really did struggle. It was not easy. I mean, the first ectopic that I'm speaking about now, our corneal, we got slightly attached, but we didn't have a lot of time to get attached, but you do get your hopes up and you kind of feel disheartened, and yeah, it's really, really emotionally hard because you've lost a child and you're trying to grieve and deal with that. So it's really difficult. So it does take time, and day by day it gets better, and there's a lot of crying and emotions flying all over the place, and the crying gets less as time goes on. As I said, time is a healer, as they say, and it's true, but I don't think you ever really forget. You just cope with it and learn how to deal with it. So I'm going to kind of leave it there this time. I'm going to go on to my next video in a couple of days for you, and we're going to go on to sort of skip 6 months and our next ectopic pregnancy, which was in August 2018, just after we got married. So I hope this helps. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye guys.